In this video, we're going to talk about the best action figure lines currently being made for less than $50 a figure. This video is perfect for people who are just starting or getting ready to start collecting, or veteran collectors. What's up guys, Matt from 𝐒𝐲𝐢𝐚 back again with another video for you. If you're new here, welcome to 𝐒𝐲𝐢𝐚. 𝐒𝐿𝐼𝐻's all about making you a well-informed and well-rounded nerd. We put up new videos every Tuesday and every Thursday, so make sure you go ahead and bang the subscribe button so you don't miss anything. Today we're going to talk about the best action figure lines currently in stores here in 2020. I've been really looking forward to doing this video because when I got back into collecting a few years back, I tried finding a video like this and it was pretty tough. I was trying to find what the best toy lines were, what the most popular ones were, what ones sucked, so I would avoid wasting my money on them, and that would have been nice. But now I'm making this video for you guys instead. I do have a couple rules for this list that I made. So, 1, it has to be readily available either in stores or online now or at some point during this calendar year. 2, everything will be priced at under $50 a figure. Reason for that is limited funds. Toys are expensive, and it's hard to convince your wife that buying plastic children's toys is okay. I know they're not for kids, but still. Perception, right? Alright, so I have 14 lines for you guys that we're going to talk about. The last one is the one that I consider to be probably the one that everybody should be collecting. It's kind of like the, hey, if you're going to collect toys, collect this line. You might be already thinking what it is, but if you're not, you're going to have to stick around to the end to find out. Alright, the first line I have for you guys is Star Wars The Black Series. So these are the Hasbro Star Wars figures that are made in the 6-inch scale. It's the first 6-inch figures that Star Wars ever made. They retail for $19.99, but generally you can find them on clearance for way less than that. They are supposedly readily available, but finding them in stores is really tough. They have some really cool things coming later this year. So at Toy Fair back in February, they unveiled the new Snowspeeder, which I can't freaking wait for, and I'm kind of curious to see how big that's going to end up being, because the TIE Fighter they came out for this line was huge. They also have Baby Yoda coming in the summer. The Black Series are great for both loose collectors and mint-on-card collectors. They display really nice either way. I personally love the ones that come on the vintage card, like the 6-inch throwback. So we got the New Hope ones a few years ago. Last year we got the Episode 1 Obi-Wan and Darth Maul. This year we're getting a bunch of figures to commemorate the 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back. Number 2, again, back to Star Wars, the Vintage Collection. These are, by far, the best 3 3/4 inch Star Wars figures ever made. They might be the best 3 3/4 inch figures ever made. The sculpts are incredible, the paint, awesome, the articulation's actually there. These things are freaking amazing. I remember seeing them everywhere and I was like, I'll get them when they're on clearance. They never went on clearance. I have most of the new ones that came out, but good lord, trying to go back and be a completionist with these is a very bad idea. This year we have some cool figures coming out. You can see the Jedi Luke here. We also have a Boba Fett Slave 1 vehicle coming out, but I can't wait to get Slave 1 set up and put Captain Solo in the cargo hold. He's worth more to me alive. Boba Fett. The one bad thing about the Vintage Collection figures, when they first came out 10 years ago, they were $9.99 I think, maybe even $7.99. And I remember thinking, I'm used to my $5 Power of the Force and Saga figures, but I accepted it. Now, $12.99 is the best you're going to find. Usually it's like $13.99. Number 3, something I just kind of touch my beak in. Remember the guy from The Godfather 2? He goes, I just want to wet my beak. That's me, and that's Funko Pops. I only have a few of them because there's a million of them, and I used to have this OCD completionist thing, and then I discovered that Funko Pops are everywhere and it's impossible. There is no such thing as a completionist Funko Pop collector. The good things about Funko Pops, they have Funko Pops from pretty much every single property you can imagine. Like TV shows that are kind of obscure, no problem. Funko's got you covered. At $10 a piece, they're relatively cheap. They display really nice outside the box. You can set them up with risers like I showed in my How to Display Your Toy video, which you can check out here. But they're nice, you know. They're cartoony, so it's hard to mess them up. I enjoy them. I have all the Christmas ones for Star Wars. My wife has like 50 of them. She's obsessed. Funko Pops, number 3. Number 4 is the current Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures. They have quite a few different series going on right now, but the ones I suggest you jump into are the Turtles in Time figures that are just starting to show up at Targets. They're based on the old Turtles in Time video game that I can't really remember, but I apparently played a lot. They also have the cartoon figures, which really bring back the memories. You can see my Bebop and Rocksteady review here, but it's a fantastic line when you can find them. They also have 1990 movie figures, which was, of course, the best Turtles movie. They've got a bunch of them out now. I have all of the Turtles, Shredder, Foot Soldier, Splinter. We have Casey Jones and Wrath in Disguise coming out. I assume we're eventually going to get in April, and we need the Asian dude, Tatsu. Hi, Tatsu, now lead. Fifth is a toy line that hasn't even started yet. All we have is pictures. If you're a wrestling fan, you know where I'm going with this. That's the new AEW Unrivaled figures. That we know about the first 2 waves that are coming out this summer. These are made by Wicked Cool Toys, which is actually owned by Jazzwares. So Wicked Cool Toys, you might remember them from the awesome real-scale rings for the WWE. So of course we have one for AEW as well. That's coming out. I think it's a Ringside exclusive, so make sure you check it out. Ringside definitely has the exclusive of Chris Jericho's "A Little Bit of the Bubbly." I can't do a good Jericho impression, I'm sorry, but I have to have that figure. It's Jericho with his bubbly and a little table to display it on. I don't know how it's going to be packaged. I really hope it's in a window box, because if it's in a white cardboard box, oh, it's going to be such a tough decision. Wisely, they chose to make these the same scale as the Mattel figures, which is the same scales as the old WWE Classic figures, and they look like they're going to retail at $19.99. Look for them this summer. Number 6 is the McFarlane DC Universe figure. So McFarlane took over the license in January, and so far, figures have looked pretty good. They retail at $19.99, so they're not like, you know, crazy. They have a nice selection coming out. They seem readily available. I've seen them pretty much everywhere. They also are not badly articulated, which is something that McFarlane figures have kind of become notorious for. They even advertise it on the packaging. 22 points of articulation. Check them out if you like DC. Number 7 is the Transformers Studios collection. Now these retail for around $30, though if you get some of the bigger guys, they go up. Notice I'm not talking about the Masterpiece collection. That's way over the $50 price point we set, but they are amazing. I'll be honest, I'm not a huge Transformers guy for one reason or another. That's part of the 80s that never really came to me. But if you like Transformers, check out this line. Speaking of things from the 80s that never came to me, number 8 is G.I. Joe. I was not a huge G.I. Joe fan as a kid growing up. I know, it's an embarrassment. I came to love it later. Honestly, I got into it about 10 years ago when I started reading IDW's comic book series, but I really love G.I. Joe, and they're bringing what is, I think, the first 6-inch scale figures to the line ever. So we have the G.I. Joe Classified collection here coming soon. The first wave has Destro, Scarlet, Roadblock, somebody else. Snake Eyes is an exclusive that everyone's going to be fighting over, but I'm going to have to pick these up. I suggest you do as well. Number 9. Number 9 is tied for the most expensive figures on this list at $44.99. I say figures because it's quite a few properties. So it's Super 7's Ultimates collection. They have Turtles, which I really need to get, but I can't afford it because I spent all my money on the other Turtles. I can only collect so many Turtles! I'm calm. Namaste. They also have Thundercats. I didn't even like Thundercats as a kid, but I want these because Mumra looks freaking amazing. Not to mention Conan the Barbarian, which I could care less about, but the figures look great. And also, New Japan Pro Wrestling, which I'm not a huge New Japan guy, but I know the wrestlers. I'm fans of them. I love their matches. I might pick these up. We'll see. They also have an Andre the Giant coming out where he looks like Andre the Giant as a cowboy. It's his Japan look. It looks okay. I might pick up Andre. We'll see. Number 10 is WWE's returning Legends line. So these are going to be a Target exclusive in the old Legends style packaging. Remember those? I remember seeing them on shelves and being like, oh, I'll pick them up at clearance. Yeah, now they're like $200 carded. Damn it. But they're great figures. So the first wave has Greg the Hammer Valentine, Bobby Heenan in his Weasel suit, which should be interesting. The bad guy, Razor Ramon. The Razor Ramon walk. You guys know what I'm talking about? Not a wrestling fan? That's okay. That's okay. How about Sting? No, this isn't the Crow from that movie. No, this is Sting. Back when he got betrayed by Lex Luger and Ric Flair and all those other guys. Was it them? And Savage? I forget. It was 96. 95? 96? It was a long time ago. WWE Legends, Target exclusive, $20. Count me in. Speaking of 80s properties and counting me in, we got 2 new Ghostbusters lines coming out. Are you freaking kidding me? First, we have the Kenner throwback figures. These look like they're somewhere in between 3 1/4 and 6 inches, I'm guessing. I can't really tell. They have the Kenner logo, even though Kenner's dead and owned by Hasbro, whatever. These are going to go for $14.99, I believe, and they're supposed to be out now, May 2020. Now, the ones that I'm going to be going after is the movie figures. This is called the Plasma line. It's going to be $19.99, I believe. They're supposed to be out this summer. They look really cool. So it's based on the first movie so far. I'm really looking forward to getting... He is Vigo! You are but the buzzing of flies to him. Not Viggo Mortensen. It's a different Vigo. He's Vigo. For number 12, we're going back to Super 7 for the Masters of the Universe Vintage Collection. These are also at that $45 mark, just like the other figures from Super 7, but they look awesome. The packaging's a throwback to the original packaging. I love these guys. This really brings me back home to when I was a kid, watching this on my living room floor and playing with the little He-Man guys. I remember having Faker and taking an eraser to his face. I don't know why. I was a kid. Don't judge me. We're winding down, folks. Lucky number 13. Unlucky. Unlucky 13. Number 13 is the World of Nintendo figures by Jakks Pacific. These retail starting at $5 and go up. I love these. There's such a huge list of figures, and they have all these little play sets, and most importantly, they have Bowser's freaking castle, which is awesome looking, and they're all affordably priced. If you grew up on Nintendo, Zelda, Mario, Luigi, Yoshi, pretty much anything that's in Super Smash Bros. Is fair game for this line. I highly recommend you check them out because they don't have a high price of entry. So check them out, World of Nintendo. Number 14. I'm out of fingers. Crap. Well, it's the last one, and this is the one that I think you should be starting with. If you're new to collecting figures, you're into nerdy stuff, this is a place that you can't go wrong. And the reason I say that is, if you decide that this line's not for you, they hold their value really well so you can sell them and buy other toys. And that is, of course, obviously, the Marvel Legends figures by Hasbro. These things have been around since 2002. I think 2002. They were started by Toy Biz, so they've been around a long time. This line is incredibly popular. They have a huge range of figures, both from the comic books and the movies. They have figures that are obvious, like Tony Stark. And then they have ones that, like, who the hell is that guy? I've never even heard of him. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but they have a lot of C, D, and F list characters from the comics that make it to figures. The reason that happens, the reason they're able to do this and that they don't just sit on the shelf forever is because it's a Build-A-Figure. These guys, I don't know if they invented Build-A-Figures, these guys being Marvel Legends, but they definitely made it what it is today. The Build-A-Figure, if you're not familiar, each figure comes with a piece of a bigger figure. So it allows a couple things. One, it allows them to move the less popular figures so they can produce them for the people who want them. And two, it allows them to make figures that are not in scales, because some of these figures are so big you couldn't sell them reasonably at that price point. So for $20, generally you get 1 1/6 figure. That's a good deal. Marvel Legends are awesome. I've dipped my toe in. I only have a few because I collect enough. But it's something that in the future I will be adding more and more. They're not something you can buy super cheap. It's not something that, like Star Wars, I'm able to pick up a lot of my bulk at discount. That's not happening with Marvel Legends. These things hold their value really freaking well. And the Build-A-Figures, those things, that's insane. If you don't like the Build-A-Figure, you just open it up, sell the Build-A-Figure parts, and keep the toy for yourself. By the way, the one I'm trying to put together now is Fat Thor from the Avengers Endgame movie. I can't wait. Bro Thor, whatever you want to call him. Okay, I want to hear from you in the comments below. How was my list? Did I hit everything? If you were recommending a line to start with to a friend who wanted to start collecting, what would it be? So in the comments, what would your number one pick be? And if I named it in my list, give me a thumbs up. If I did not name it in my list and I completely screwed the pooch, bring shame to my dojo by giving me the thumbs down. Either way, I want to hear from you guys. What is the number one line you recommend for someone to start collecting if they're not already collecting it? Hit those comments. And again, if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and Hulk smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in a few days. Stay nerdy.